from Abuja.
Hello, I'm glad you're part of our show. We appreciate you. I'm Magnus Kpakol, and this is Magnus Kpakol GVA. As always, it's all about how we can raise the level of living. That's what it's all about. In view today, the globalization of national elections. Recently, from DR Congo to troubled Venezuela, and even to Nigeria, we are seeing how global attention is paid to how national elections are being conducted. So today, we look at how this phenomenon is affecting Nigeria's 2019 political campaigns and elections. To help us with this, we are privileged to have Ambassador Joe Keshi. Joe Keshi has served Nigeria as ambassador and also in other high-level government and private sector positions. But before we talk to Ambassador Keshi, we look at the economics of hope in our hidden economics. Now, up next in our quick view, we check out on what you know. That's coming right up. The Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, is headquartered in Nigeria. Quite often, especially in light of Nigeria's size, that's probably what most people care to know about it. However, ECOWAS is made up of 15 member countries that are located in the West African region. Member countries have both cultural and geopolitical ties and share common economic interests. 8 of these countries are French-speaking, 5 are English-speaking, and 2 are Portuguese-speaking. Because of our commitment to regional integration, citizens of member states will do well to know the governments and policies of each of the member states. In this connection, who among the following is the current president of the Republic of Togo? Yasimbe Eyadema, Jean-Pierre Fabre, For Yasimbe, and Sylvanus Olympio. The 3 main political parties that emerged before Nigeria's independence in 1960 were Action Group, AG, National Council of Nigeria and the Cameroons, NCNC, and the Northern People's Party, NPC. In this connection, who among the following was the founder of the NCNC, which existed from 1944 to 1966? Nnamdi Azikiwe, Herbert Macaulay, Michael Okpara, and Maitama Sule. Stay with us for our answers coming up shortly. Still in view, Ambassador Joe Keshi to discuss the globalization of national elections. Don't go away.
I have a dream. One day, it go better. For Naija, money go circulate like to go there. One day, we no go need to job. Go more to Naija. You don't take. I feel like paying you today. It's still the same guys, still the same lies, still the same breed, still the same greed, still the same promise. 10 years in office, make no change except for their pockets. They really don't care.
One Day by Lanre Dabiri, better known by his stage name LD. Lanre Dabiri is a former Nigerian-American rapper, singer, and record producer who now is an IT consultant based in the United States of America. No better a person in passion than Lenry Debry to sing this song. Although there is some frustration in the tone, in essence, the song is full of hope. What is the basis of hope? What are the main elements in the economics of hope? Clearly in the song, it is hoped that there will one day be all the good things that Nigerians want, like available and stable electricity, security, good roads and bridges, other infrastructure, no corruption, good and competent leadership, good health care, and of course, good quality education to help provide and promote a faster pace of human capital development for increased productivity and global competitiveness. But why have any hope? Well, the hope is premised on the spirit of the people. The people of Nigeria know what is good for them and will eventually rise up. One way is by voting, and that is voting across board, not just in relation to political parties, which for the most part and practically are ideologically indistinguishable, but voting regardless of party, who you think would do a better job for your well-being and that of the nation as a whole. Innovation. This word should also be well understood by the people. At the root of the economics of hope is innovation. We must do things differently and better if we are to succeed. We must stop religious and ethnic proclivities that produce mediocrity. Every religion and every ethnic group in Nigeria has good and able men and women to vote into political office. Let us identify them and vote for them. Folks, the politicians are innovative. Let the voters also be innovative. If we keep doing this, not one day, but soon and very soon, Nigeria will be the way we want it to be. Our hidden economics for you.
Now basic amenity. One day, it go better. For Naija, money go circulate. Like today, one day, we no go need to job. Come on to Naija, we don't take. I feel like making it today. One day, it go better. Like to go day, one day, we no go need to job. Come on to Naija, we don't take. I feel like making it today.
Before we start our discussion, here are our quick view answers. For Yeshimwe is the current president of the Republic of Togo in his third term, having come to office in 2005 after his father, who had ruled Togo for 39 years from 1967 to 2005, died in office. Herbert Macaulay founded the NCNC in 1944 with Nnamdi Azikiwe as his first secretary. In 1960, Nnamdi Azikiwe became the first president of Nigeria, although Tafawa Balewa, the prime minister, was head of government. For comments, adverts, and sponsorship, please see our information displayed on the screen. So, has globalization also come to national elections and politics? Given what we have seen recently in DR Congo and what is going on in Venezuela and other parts of the world, including Nigeria, apparently national elections are no longer left to nationals. What are the implications of this for political stability? security, and economic performance. We have Ambassador Joe Keshi to discuss this. Ambassador Keshi was chairman of United Bank for Africa, UBA, but before that had over 35 years working experience at the highest levels of government as a career diplomat and ambassador. He also served as permanent secretary in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the Presidency. Please join us in our discussion with Ambassador Joe Keshi. All right, Ambassador, thank you for being on our show once again.
Thank you for having me, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too. Yeah, absolutely. Well, okay, the elections are upon us, and we want to talk about something that I want to call the globalization of national elections. Because as you may have seen, as you've seen surely, from DR Congo to now Venezuela, Nigeria, international observers are keying in, are looking in, trying to see what's going on. So what is this, a new thing, or this is always been with us? I mean, you have expertise in this area. Is this something new? Is this something we're going to see more of? The international community being more interested in the national elections of countries?
I think the best way to respond to your question is first to recognize that it is not a globalized situation, in the sense that we don't monitor elections in Germany or Britain or in the United States. So you find that it's probably limited to, quote and unquote, some third world countries, most of them in the African continent and the rest of it. And I think we have to go back in history that at the end of the military era and democracy was taking shape, there was this fear that it might not be free and fair, and in an attempt to give credibility to the elections, you know, the whole question of monitoring, supervising, and observing election became the norm in order to
a norm amongst Africans or throughout the world? Or?
Both sides. I'm coming to that. Became the norm in which the international actors, wanted to help these countries to achieve democratic practice and ensure that at the end of election, there's some credibility that allows everybody to accept the result of the election. Secondly, and I think this is what also gave them the voice. In some cases, at least we can speak of Nigeria, as I said to a group this morning, they also contributed financially to helping you set up your electoral structures. And they also contributed, or they are contributing even up to today, indirectly through the civil society. So as long as they pay some bills, you can really not tell them not to interfere. The last point is that in most cases, it is the opposition candidates that embraces them, woo them, and encourage them to be involved.
But who invites them in the first place, though?
Nobody officially invites them. But, well, the nation might officially invite them, but let me just take your mind back to 2015 in this country, because it's recent. If you remember, the United States Secretary of State was here twice in 1 month. If you also remember that those who were glad to welcome him all the time were members of the opposition at that time. If you remember how much the opposition at that time embraced...
Which is the APC now.
APC, yes. Okay. Quoted. Look, there were pictures in newspapers of APC leaders going to the house of the American ambassador, going to the house of the British ambassador in 2015, almost virtually welcoming their involvement and their intervention. It worked for them. Today, they can't be crying that the foreigners are intervening. But I also make the point, as I said earlier, the people who are intervening provide you some resources as they provided to other countries. They provide training for your staff. They provide training for the CEO and the monitors and the rest of them. In fact, monitoring election has become a big business. And you can see the number of NGOs in this country that where are they getting the funds from? If not from these same people.
Okay, so when we say that, well, when they say that is the foreign observers, yes, if we call them observers, when they say that they were invited, is it?
Sure.
Hold on a second. Is it the government that invites them, or is it political parties?
Yeah. Probably. Let's go back to 1999, given the circumstances that brought about 1999. As I said, they wanted to give credibility to the election and comfort to everybody that, yes, Nigeria has arrived, or if you take the DRC, for example,
yes,
this is the first election they will hold in the life of that nation to transfer power peacefully from one government to the other. And so they needed to put some cloth of credibility to it. Again, as long as you have these people paying or funding some of your structures for the election, they feel courageous enough and strong enough to voice their opposition to what you are doing.
In your mind, does the APC government in Nigeria now, does the government not want foreign observers? From what you see, does it look like they don't want them?
No, it's not that they don't want them, but
what don't they want? When El Rufai is talking about body bags, which everybody's been citing now, was he threatening them?
There's been so many things that El Rufai has said that people, I don't think people should, there have been so many things El Rufai has said that is very unfortunate, so I don't think, bad as this is, it's just one of those, things you can credit to El Rufai that is unfortunate. But here's my take. As I said, it's not that the government does not want observers.
Okay.
But the APC government or the Buhari administration and the APC, in my life in this country, I've never seen a government that has displayed so much hypocrisy in almost everything. And so, remember what they said in 2015 compared to what they are saying today.
Yeah.
Well, for example, Atiku was a good man. Saraki was a good man. Yeah. Everybody that went to APC.
Because they were in their party.
Because they went to 2019. They are now the worst villains in this country. Okay. Simply because they left the party of saints to join the India. But they came from here to here.
Yeah.
And when you hear APC people talk about these people today, they don't remember what they said in 20...
Wouldn't you say that that's politics?
No.
Because they're saying that to persuade
in this country, we shouldn't just put it down that this is politics.
What is it then?
It has, for me, it has gone beyond politics.
What is it?
It's hypocrisy, at its worst level.
Okay.
It's also intellectual laziness on the part of the elites who honestly accept this form of propaganda.
Yeah.
Politics is not so... Look, people say politics is bad. No, it is the people in politics that gives politics a bad name. You can't wake me up and say, oh, you are a good man today, and tomorrow you come to me and say the guy is bad. Why? Because he used to come to my house, now he doesn't come to my house again. Does that make you bad? But you knew the guy was bad. You took my money. You used my money to run an election. You became president and you say I'm corrupt. Does that make sense to you? No. So this is what is going on today, that there's been so many, I don't know, maybe they have not handled their affairs very well. And so there's this fear that this 2019 election could be rigged.
Yeah.
And consequently, just like in 2015, the international community is expressing its views that, look, elections, it's not all about, democracy is not all about elections.
Yeah, here's what I think, and I want you to comment on it. I'm thinking that, mostly an incumbent administration runs on its records. And the most important record usually is the economy. If you look at the last 4 years of this administration, 0.9% economic growth rate. The PDP 16 years, 7.6% economic growth rate. If you even do 4 to 4, the first 4 years of the PDP, 6.8% economic growth rate. So if you are APC, what would you say? You got to look for something else. So that's why I say it's politics. According to The Economist magazine, large and sustained increases in cross-border flow of goods, money, ideas, and people have been the most important factor in world affairs for the past 3 decades. According to The Economist, these activities have reshaped relations between states, both large and small, and have increasingly come to affect internal politics too. So, globalization has brought the world closer with products like Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, cell phones, and many others, some the use of which may even have far-reaching social, political, and economic implications. However, it appears that the nature and pace of globalization have changed. Recent populist tendencies among the people and governments in some key global regions appear to be pushing back at globalization, creating something that Ajay Bakas, a Dutch trend watcher, describes as slowbalization. Now, how severe can slowbalization be? Even so, it appears that any slowbalization has not and is not affecting the tendency of big power nations and even smaller ones to continue their interest in the electoral and therefore political affairs of their neighbors and trading partners. As we see being played out scaringly in Venezuela, where Nicolas Maduro and Juan Guaido have become 2 presidents in 1 republic. It is clear that leaders that have nationalist, populist, or even dictatorial tendencies may get no reprieve from any globalization, as it appears that the globalization of national elections is gaining even more steam. Indeed, I think that new innovations by investors, consumers, and voters will strengthen rather than weaken the globalization of national elections. The recent comment attributed to Governor El Rufai of Kaduna State on body bags is damaging and regrettable, especially after the presidency had already issued a measured and responsible reaction to the positions of foreign electoral observers. As Ambassador Keshi has said, development partners support our electoral institutions and can have a say on our electoral processes. More than that, we need our development partners across board, and especially with trade and investments for job creation and human capital development. Let's not attempt to scare people. I'm Magnus Kpakol, and that's my view.